It is March 22nd in the year 2018. I'm Alex Ansary. We're going to be discussing escaping the Matrix. I'm going to be putting down some of my core thoughts into writing. But this is about you. What does it mean to you to break free from this Matrix? To free yourself from this Matrix? What is your responsibility? What is your job? And your responsibility and your job has nothing to do with what your neighbor is doing across the street, what he or she is doing inside their home. This goes for people across the planet. This goes for people across the state. This goes for how we feel about the President of the United States, whether you like him or don't like him. This is about you. What is your life path? Why were you born during this time? Why are you listening to this podcast? What is your responsibility? Because I will warn you, and I will tell you all, it doesn't matter what your ethnic background is, they want us inside their matrix indefinitely as souls imprisoned to their rules and regulations. And if we want to free ourselves from this soul prison, then we got to evolve beyond the very things that got us in this soul prison. What got me here into the body? Stamped Alex Ansary. What got me here? What got you here? You know, Erica Stevenson or Micah Erickson or Tim Landercaster. Okay, I'm not doing very good on the ad-libbing names. Tim McLaughlin, Joseph Anderson, Daniel Patterson, Jerry Seinfeld. There we go. What are these people doing here? In this giant bubble? Flat Earth, round Earth, holographic? How are these people not dead? What the hell? How are these people not dead? And we've all just sit there and heard the Dennis Leary, so many different ways you can die in New York City. I mean, he's got a whole comedy bit, and as vulgar as he is, the drunken Irishman, just brilliant, painting the color to the mind's eye. How is it that we're not dead? Forget New York, so many different ways to go out in this one world government. And we are just there, like teetering. All these different perceived threats. And yet in this world that I describe of the custom-tailored Facebook fake news algorithm to divide and conquer from within, Russia and the CIA working together, not about creating, or directing the election. It was a selection. They worked together to create discord amongst the people while they continue their arms war. And it just goes on. This global military industrial complex with these partners making money off of these manufactured perceived threats of the people at a military level, at a macro, at a nation state level, all the way down to the micro. The people that aren't going to evolve beyond this matrix are going to be stuck up in this rat race. Dog eat dog. And thinking like gang warfare. Now it's time to get yours. Oh, now it's time to suppress somebody when it's time for you to suppress somebody because you've been suppressed so long or told that you've been suppressed so long. It's time to stop letting them tell any of us to be a victim because they're going to box us in. There could be candy. There could be $1 million. There could be a media spotlight. They'll put the spotlight on you, baby. They'll give you the best dress, man. They'll give you the best suit, sir. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. The devil's got a way to pull out a contract, but the deal is sour. I've always said for years, we can't sell our own soul, but we can lease it for a period in time. The question is, how long are some of us, when we make these mistakes and we sin against the Creator's creation, how long are we stuck inside this matrix? No, how long really? Because I want a closer look at this contract. And I want to know how to break this contract. And there are people that are asking the ultimate questions now about escaping the prison planet. And there are people that will come to us as our friends. They'll call themselves the prison planet. Yet they will be the actual custodians and the servants of the archons that put us into a toxic mindset to keep us in that prison planet. The devil will come, the archon will come, the jinn will come, the shaitan will come in the form of our friends. And I mean this in a literal sense. It will come to you in the form of your favorite talk show in some cases. Because it happened to me. And then there was a day that came where I realized I would no longer listen to those very individuals that at one point may have been my inspiration to get involved in the quote-unquote alternative media. But at one point, once I saw their true nature, I shut them off. One particular individual that I will write about more in the future. And I will speak about, but I'm not here to tarnish his name. We're not talking about Alex Jones. We're talking about somebody else that I knew at some point in a galaxy far, far away, but within this lifetime. And then I asked myself, with the amount of fake news that I saw himself teetering into, as he went from nobody to back on the media, and at one point syndicated in multiple states, terrifying people in 2011 about a comet Elenin asteroid strike that never ever was. Having Anthony Hilder on to tell people to be afraid. Be very, very afraid. In his deep, dark Dracula voice. The idea of the archons picking their agents of the Matrix, rewarding them with attention because they are serving them by creating more fear on an instant telepathic level by their positioning in their media. Whether you call that mainstream media or whether you call that some of the top dogs in the conspiracy talk circuit world. But when you look at what's being done, what's being spread, and the nightmares, and the power of nightmares, it's not just a BBC documentary about manufactured threats overseas. To fulfill a neocon agenda, power of nightmares is used to spread the archon agenda through human hosts that purport to be against the supernatural hold over the hidden hand that turns brother against sister, sister against brother, brother against brother, sister against sister. All over the illusions of separation when we should be awake. See, they don't have to kill us all. They can make it easy for their poison to make the truth unrecognizable. They will make their poison available. They will make their poison free. Whether it be toxic violence on the internet, whether it be enough food stamps to fill yourself, to drink yourself with Coca-Cola in candy bars, this is more of an attack on the way people pollute their bodies. And they condition people to pollute their bodies and live out of that Family Dollar. Or live out of that bar. And I'm not perfect. And I've smoked my fair share of cigarettes. But in no way is this system trying to take away its vices. I'm all about the legalization of marijuana. But you can also just go, smoke it all, folks. The store is open. And you can see the anti-war movement fall faster than the towers of 9/11. How do I know this? I'm living this lifetime. And that's exactly what's happened to the anti-war movement. It's fallen like the towers in New York City. And that's a greater reality. We're under spiritual attack. And the spiritual attack is affecting the magnetic field around the planet. And the changes of the magnetic field around the planet are changes that affects the things going on within our own auric field around us. And we have to realize it's our responsibility to ground and not let these forces that are beyond our control and these fluxes within our universe allow us to fall under their possession. You can become possessed by fear of their control, of their government, of their army of death, of their dogs of war. And it can take us away from the reality that is, the truth within. You see, it's when you realize that many of the people that you may have been listening to have been deceiving and working for the dark side that you start to look within. The trauma of 9/11 and the aftermath and the truth that I believe that I came to stumble upon was traumatizing enough to see the widespread mind control influence. Then, it's not a new concept. It was then, it was that event. And that event for me personally, and for reasons that are obvious, it set me on a more deeper spiritual quest. for why the forces of darkness, the forces of Mordor, not only manufactured that event, but sent a nation against a group of people, which still exists to this day. A war that's never been won. A country more bombed and destabilized than ever. What has been the agenda to destabilize that region and that part of the earth? Or some believe the agents have been buried there. Iraq, other countries. Syria has a deep history, and yet there's so much taking place in Syria where it seems the hidden hand truly controls both sides. In spirit, I see a group of people, an ethnicity of the Syrian people being surrounded by the one world government. What's happened to Afghanistan, happening to Syria, happening to other countries, planned for even whites later on. The idea of co-opting all sides, corrupting people via their evil, and then sicking the dogs of war. It's like a scene from Ghost, when a murderer is killed himself, these dark spirits coming after the murder spirit, biting into him, dragging him away into the dark of night to some sort of a hell. When I think about this world, I see it as a form of hell, but I realize there are lower forms of earth-like hells, and this is not the lowest form. Picture yourself in a physical form, just like you are now, but being hunted, or living during a time and age where humans are hunted. Maybe people might wish it was a robot compared to the type of creatures, animals that could have existed before, could be existing now, that are outside our field of vision, or could be existing during other times or other planets, but maybe not here in the physical. But what if a doorway was to open and we would find ourselves on the other side? Would there then be some sort of humility, some sort of remorse for our crimes as a people and what we've done to each other? And what that is dehumanization in a world where people have treated their dogs better than particular groups. And that right now is more alive than ever. Are those the people that are going to escape the matrix? Those that participate in that low level of dehumanization? Or feel like, I'm going to react to these things that I'm seeing on Twitter and on the internet. I'm going to let it radicalize me. Yeah, that sounds like a soul that's ready to pop through the matrix. There's going to be opposition to people like me trying to unplug people from this matrix. And I think that the future only holds more challenge for anyone that wants to help the souls liberate themselves. I don't have all the answers, and I'm not perfect. But part of me trying to help is to remind people that they do have free will. They do have a choice in this matter. And there does seem to be a human soul in-game taking place right now. It's why you were born. And I was born during a time to where we share this space with not millions, but billions. That's why they've made this evil and mass murder so accessible to children via cell phones and anyone with a Wi-Fi connect. It's about corrupting people with the technology. The same technology that could actually help us access information, that can set us free, and a network with other like minds and souls across the planet. You see, you don't have to censor those people or physically prevent them from gathering if you can pollute their minds with all these different things to keep themselves busy. And to understand human physiology from an understanding of human physiology that's above and beyond humanity, you need to understand how to think like them, if that's possible. And I'm doing my best, but there's a part of my perspective that almost seems to be able to foresee that. And it's foreseeing those weaknesses within human biology to thus take over the species by using its own human people against them. People of their own tribe, and placing them in key places. In politics, in the media, and in our world. We talk about the alternative media. We talk about those agents within. We talk about those distractions within comment sections and message boards. That's about division within to try to stop any consciousness and organization from having any focus. You think about someone trying to distract you away from being able to meditate or focus. Maybe imagine yourself on a field and you're pulling back that bow and arrow and you've zoned in on the bullseye, but you need to hold that focus and you need to relax. You need to not tense up. And imagine someone yelling at you, the devil of this world, the devil on your shoulder, telling you you're no good, telling you you have no power, telling you you look like something out of Napoleon Dynamite for trying to enhance yourself on a physical level. And imagine yourself trying to hold out that focus because that is your competitor, because that is someone holding their own bow. But they don't realize in this fallen world, it's not about holding your brother down. It's about strengthening your own line, doing good on your part, not having a war with each other, and using that to elevate our own sense of value. But in the prison planet of souls in which we are in, most humans not on the spiritual path will behave as such. That their evolution somehow is required on others to fail, or for their success to be interrupted. And see, this is not human consciousness. This is a sign of human possession, and it's all around you. And unless someone actually starts to wake up to what that frequency is, to where people are completely inverted into what it means to consciously interact with each other, then we're just constantly being influenced by androids. And unless we wake up to that, then monkey see, monkey do, then we're influenced by this world. We should seek to influence this world, not be influenced by it. But at the same time, in this prison, we are not here to change the prison, but to change the mind of the prisoner. And that's been coming to me, that quote, throughout the whole week, that we are here to evolve the mind of the prisoner that is within the prison, not to change the prison itself. That's too great of a task. That means evolving beyond the hatred that we experience, the challenges, the unconsciousness, the darkness, that non-human energy. We have to learn to walk around that, to not even engage with that, to evolve beyond that, to a point where, like an old analogy from Bruce Lee, fighting without fighting, to where we go beyond even the sense of self-defense. We're beyond this reality. Okay, we're going to end it there.